What's up guys, Akariss here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Heroes video. Today's video is a requirement because this one's long overdue, because we have Xander. Anybody who's following this channel long enough knows that I'm a pretty big Xander fan. Especially the Summer Xander variant, but since Legendary Xander's here, this video, this reaction, my thoughts are pretty much overdue. I likely will be covering a multitude of tier lists in an upcoming YouTube video as well. So stay tuned for that. Talk about it on Twitch and then bring it over to the YouTube environment soon enough. So if you've been out of the loop, you haven't been catching up with some of my videos and the infrequency of it, thank you for being here as always, but just caught up with a lot of work, a lot of summer school, a lot of courses, and just generally teaching and stuff. So if you've been watching the content or coming even to Twitch to say hi, I do appreciate you for doing so. But as I said, I'm trying to just do whatever content I can to bring it over to YouTube occasionally, when the free time allows it. So yeah, here we are with Legendary Xander, and I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to go through the video and give you my opinion on Legendary Xander, what I think of him overall. Probably not worth your orbs. That's the first thing I'll say. Even as a Xander fan, maybe if you have Fed Pass, maybe as a Spark, it's worth it. But other than that, not much more here. So we got a Fire Legendary, Green Axe Cav, and an Attack Para Blessing. So this is the new trend with Legendaries. Green Axe Cav is pretty saturated though, because we have quite a few lately. With like Gustav and Roy, Xander. I can't even remember a couple of the other ones. Honestly, there's just been so many good ones lately that just kind of like Twitch chat maybe helps me out with this one, but you guys in comments can let me know. But generally speaking, yeah, right, we had some Dimitri. There we go. So there's just been so many good Green Axe Cavs that it's kind of becoming a little oversaturated. Not a huge fan of Dimitri, that's why I would forget that. So anyways, let's go over this and talk about it. First of all, he does have a preference B skill, which means that he is going to set a new record for Fire Legendary scoring. He's going to be above Eitri. If you care about Arena, then that's going to be pretty important, or at least he's going to require less investment as a Fire Legendary than anyone else. He does come with a couple of good things that will make him pretty standard at this point. Like, it just feels like they put these kits together and they just go with it. So we have Chivalry. His preference B skill comes with Canto Rem. Expected. Comes with DR, so damage reduction. His DR is a little bit funky. It's a bit different than the other stuff we're used to in the game. But effectively, it's going to give him DR based on the enemy HP. The higher it is, the more DR he has. This is pretty good for tanking like full health units because he's pretty much going to get like 50% DR. Remember that DR itself isn't too great against piercing type effects like Deadeye, Lethality, Legendary Nana, notably. But it should be pretty good if you do end up using him, let's say, as a physical melee tank as opposed to like a distant counter range tank. So if you combine him with like a far save, then this is going to be pretty good because then he's not going to have too much counters and the DR will be fairly consistent against quite a handful of units. So I think it's pretty good. He gets the attack speed minus defense on foes. It does feel like he's going to be pretty fast because as we read in his weapon in a moment, it is suggesting that for sure. So slaying, of course, within 2 spaces or 2 more allies, he's going to get no follow-up and he's going to have like a breath effect, which is pretty good, or I guess we'll call it like a world breaker, or whatever you want to call it, just special acceleration, no follow-up, slaying, and of course through his effect here and reducing speed, he's gonna be, seems like he's gonna be pretty fast. His condition to make the weapon active is just a unit initiation clause, or just within 2 spaces allies. Pretty easy to accomplish, especially if you're gonna combine him, let's say, with a far save. He also gets healing after combat, so he's just kind of jamming a bunch of effects in, and as a cav this is pretty good because there's like access to no follow-up as a cav isn't that common. You pretty much have to combine somebody with like Lilith to get it, or let's say Legendary Byleth in Wonder Seasons. Again, the biggest issue I feel with Legendary Xander is that he's going to be seasonal locks. This guy is really great, let's say, as a physical tank, but then you're just only going to be able to use him in Fire Season, let's say in AR, and that kind of sucks. Maybe in Chaos AR he's going to be a bit better because then you just don't care about the blessings, and in Arena he's going to generally be pretty good because again he has Canto, he has mobility, the trenches are going to be a big issue, and unfortunately he can't use Assault Troop. That's like be a little bit of an issue, because if you can do full scoring, then Assault Troop doesn't score enough. Now, the biggest meme, the biggest takeaway from this whole thing is he has C Feud. So, Elise fans, sorry. Ouch. So yeah, he's pretty stacked for a Cav. Probably one of the just somebody just combining a bunch of stats just gonna be good. He's gonna be high scoring. He has attack to his team. Generally, good unit is how I would rate him. He doesn't really bring anything new to the table though. The null follow up and breath effects are interesting because they're not easy to accomplish on a lot of Cavs. But generally speaking, he's just a good unit, and that's where I'd rate him.
I will see your era fade.
Yeah, so when it comes to the banner itself, it does look like red and green are going to be pretty good here. Green is really good if you care about fire season, because then you have two shots of building a fire legendary core in the form of Eitri and Xander. And also Freya gives you potentially light merges, though Freya I would consider pretty much a bottom tier light legendary right now. Besides that, even though she's pretty bad in terms of compared to the other light legendaries, it's like mythics rather, she's going to still be potentially increasing your score in AR, and fire season arena is covered through Eitri and Xander. So that makes green pretty appealing. Red looks really good too because it has Sigurd, Regan, and Lif. Lif being probably the weak point there, but even having just a one-off of him for a bonus season in AR defense can do quite good to save you a lot of lift. Sigurd doesn't really need any talking about, and Regan is pretty much one of the best AR offense mythics in the game, honestly. Especially in Astra season, she does some incredible work. Colorless is pretty bad here. I don't think most people are going to want Nime. August is interesting. Leaf is decent, and he's going to get a remix soon, though, so it's not really that appealing. Blue is okay. It has Uller, again, for scoring. Node is still very strong as a defense mythic, and Ishtar is at least a floor for most people who don't already have her. So generally speaking, this banner is somewhere, I'd say, mid-range. I don't think most people are going to be too appealed by this. Xander is overdue for many people. I'm excited to see him for sure, but as I'm not a FedPass user, I don't intend to be one, this is a hard skip for me. I can't go into this, and there's no reason for me really. Just it's cool to have Xander in the game, and I'll appreciate him for being here for us. That's pretty much my extent of the coverage on Xander. This could be a good time to save or skip, so let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, you made it this far into the video, I do appreciate you for being here. The least I can ask for is potentially a thumbs up or a sub if you enjoy the content, so you can follow and give back. That's really all it is. If you want to do even more, then consider the links such as Patreon and coaching in the description below. And keep being here as long as you guys want me to be here. Love you all. See you in the next one. Peace.